All right, folks, welcome to this edition of Open Insights. I am really excited to have Aaron Fleming right here. Aaron is part of one of our is one of our lighthouse districts in North Carolina.
North
North
Carolina,
Carolina,
Alamance, Burlington, yes.
Burlington. So I'm gonna pivot right over here and say, Aaron, if you don't mind, just give me a little bit of your background, your story.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I am entering my or midway through my 9th year as a school superintendent, headed towards 10 years.
God bless.
I spent 8 of those years in Harnett County and kind of the Sand Hills
Yeah.
area of North Carolina. And just about a year and a half ago, almost to the day, we moved to Alamance, Burlington, which is Alamance County, right in the kind of dead center between the Triangle and Triad,
Okay.
between Greensboro and Raleigh. We have really done a lot of great things in the last year and a half we've been there, with facilities, with staffing, financial, but now we've got to hit the academic piece,
Okay.
which is one of the reasons why we partnered up with Aubrey.
Oh, perfect. Sweet. What I'm always curious. So what got you started in education? Where'd you start out?
Yeah, so I started out as a high school agriculture teacher.
No way.
I have families, our family, one side of my family was big into farming in upstate New York, and always loved to go up in the summers and work on the farm. And it was really the inspiration of my high school agriculture teachers at South Rowan High School near Charlotte. And that's where I made the leap into education. Went to NC State University, go Wolfpack.
Yeah.
Majored in agricultural education, became a high school agriculture teacher, taught in a couple districts across North Carolina, and then went into school administration, became a local career and technical education director for 2 school districts, worked some in policy at the state level, and then made the leap into the school superintendency. Being a school superintendent is a tough job. All of my previous experiences really prepared me for it, but it's also a very rewarding career as well. And so,
I'd love to
yes,
hear a little bit more. As someone who's not super familiar with North Carolina and their
yes.
education policies and what's going on, I'd just be curious to hear. I mean, it sounds like you had a little bit of policy experience right there. What is the state really experiencing right now? What are you seeing from both your superintendent lens right here, community lens, what you seeing happen over there? I'm just curious.
Yeah,
What's going on?
I think public education in North Carolina is doing really well. There certainly are challenges when it comes to school choice. North Carolina is
Yeah.
becoming a huge school choice state. I'm for school choice because I believe if we give parents the right to choose where their child is educated, those of us in public education will work harder and will do even more great things for students. I believe that the traditional K-12 route gives students the biggest opportunity
Yeah.
to succeed, but also students are provided with so many different experiences. If in career and technical education, kind of the route I went, if it is purely academic, arts, even athletics. So I think North Carolina is, again, doing very well. If you look at our statewide, if you look at our academic performance, it goes up a little more every year. In Alamance, Burlington, it has not necessarily done that in the last couple of years, but we're on our way there.
Going there.
Already, our first semester high school scores look significantly higher, and we think that's just the beginning.
Sweet. That's awesome. I guess, so let me ask you this, in your current role as a superintendent, how would you identify the biggest opportunities and the biggest challenge you face right now in your school district? What you yeah.
I think our biggest challenge right now is certainly always funding.
Yeah.
And not just so much funding, because it's easy for school leaders to say we need more money. In my district, particularly, we have some very old schools. In my last district, we went through a major capital campaign, built a lot of new schools, really modernized our facilities. We have probably fallen back on that in ABSS, and so that's our biggest challenge, is
Okay.
making sure kids are coming into a facility where they know they are safe, and where they know that the environment is conducive to learning. And then I think the second challenge, which may even be tied with the first challenge, is the recruitment of high quality teachers. We are still a rural/suburban school district. Many of our teachers can go on the eastern side of our county. You can get into Durham, Chapel Hill, Raleigh,
Yeah.
in 30
Big
minutes or
development
less.
area. The place is growing
And
like
they're paying
crazy.
a little more higher local supplements. If you're on the western side, you can go into Greensboro, even into the Winston-Salem area, and make a higher local supplement. And so we're sandwiched in between the triad and the triangle. And so I think teacher recruitment is a huge challenge for us.
What do you think? This is just something I find fascinating too, because I got a sister who teaches in rural Michigan, and I'm always curious to like, how do you attract that type of teacher? I mean, you're at the pace probably going to be low. Of course, standard living is going to be lower at the
It is a little
same
bit.
time.
It is, and being in the South in general, it's a little
Yeah,
lower. We try to, while we know we can't compensate at the level that these larger urban districts are paying teachers, we try to provide quality professional development. We try to do as many things as we can to show that teacher we appreciate them, and not just teachers, staff members
yeah.
across the board.
Yeah,
That's right.
whole
And
group.
so we try to, you're not a number, you're a name. I know that's a cliche that a lot of businesses use, but really with us, we try to get to know who you
Sense of
are.
belonging.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is the amount of funding we put into professional development and really building you as an educator and making you feel like you really are a part of the team.
So, I'd be curious, maybe, boy, I don't know, like any other things that's really kind of top of your mind that's been really catching your interest, just as a leader right now, that you're like, this is fascinating.
Again, being in the district I'm in now, academic performance is top of mind.
Yeah.
I walked into a district that for several years has not had an elementary reading program
Oh my
or
goodness.
reading curriculum. And
Yeah.
so we're in adoption for that right now. So really, academics is top of mind. But then I look at how AI is shifting the way we teach, the way we plan for lessons, the way we run a school district in general. I'm very fascinated by that. Unfortunately, I think with AI, you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
As a avid Chat GPT user, I know how much I pay for that, and that is nothing. But then when you look at some of these vendors, even here at AASA, that are providing some great tools for our schools, you realize that there's a premium price to that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so I think that we're going to have to find a balance in there for the more we adopt. The services go up every year, obviously, with inflation. Products go up every year for inflation, but our funding is not keeping up with that level. And so we want to add more. But we have to figure out how we can afford more. But yeah, AI is something that
Top of the
it
mind.
really is.
Yeah.
It interests me.
Yep.
But I also wonder how can that help our lateral entry teachers because we have so many teachers right now that haven't been through a school of education.
Yeah, yeah,
So can
yeah.
AI
Interesting.
help leverage them into becoming great teachers and getting the same type of training I got in a teacher education program at a institution of higher learning? And so I think there's some uses.
Talk to me, I'm curious a little bit, like, you've mentioned this a couple times, but how you are envisioning the use of data to improve academic outcomes with your folk.
Yeah, absolutely. So something that's been with me even since I was in the classroom, or certainly since I become an administrator, was this idea of data dashboards and data walls. You've got to be able to track that student moving forward. In my last district, we did a lot of that in-house. We didn't use a third-party provider, and I think the fact that we did it in-house, it was okay. I'm actually impressed we were able to do that, but again, it certainly was not at a level, that I think a third party could have helped us, and so I wanted to make sure in the last year, as soon as I moved into ABSS and noticed we were doing nothing with data, that we started out on the right foot in being able to track not just academic performance, because that's a huge part of it, but we need to track attendance. We need to track subgroups. Obviously, with Aubrey, we've been able to
Yep.
find that, and we're very impressed with the early
Early
warning
warning.
dashboard.
Yep.
Again, our teachers need to be equipped with the same data, if not more, that our administrators are equipped with. And so growth is huge with us. We use EVOS, the
Yep,
SaaS
yep,
product,
yep, yep, yep.
to track student and teacher growth. And so while teachers have access to that, they really don't have access to a lot of the other um, information, a lot of the other metrics that students have to live with. What is their home life like? Why are they not coming to school? What does their discipline history look like?
It's nice to have that all in one
It
spot.
is, and now we've got it all in one spot, so
Yeah.
we are, just real excited about it. But yes, data, is what's driving not only our instruction, but also how we're choosing curriculum materials, how we choose supplemental materials, and, our teachers and our principals have really been on board with that.
Love that. Well, we always like to end with sort of
Yeah.
a bit of like a nostalgia question. Like, okay, if you were to pick the thing that's sponsoring this interview right here, like memory from your education background, what would you pick?
Well, growing up on Tobacco Road,
Tobacco
with
Road.
yes, with NC State where I went, and we all remember Jim Valvano and some of the memories he has made, and then of course all of the Tar Heels, which is
Yeah.
they're everywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you add in Duke Blue Devils and Wake Forest Demon Deacons. I remember growing up, and every March, April, we would roll that cart out with a TV strapped to the cart, and in class, which I don't know that I'm promoting public education by saying this, but they would bring this huge card in, the teacher would, and we would get to watch the ACC tournament. And, depending on who was playing that day, and it typically was like the State Carolina game or something like that. So I guess if I had to pull back, I would go back to my elementary years and that big, I don't know what size those TVs were, probably 36-inch
I have
RCA, with a VCR underneath it.
yeah.
And that had that bungee cord strap. I mean, that thing was strapped so it didn't fall off and kill somebody.
Yep.
So I would have to go back to Boston Elementary School in China Grove, North Carolina, to the strap TV for the beginning of Jefferson Pilot's coverage of the ACC tournament.
I love that. I wanna do a follow-up question with this
Absolutely.
because you just made a comment that I think is funny in the sense of, like, sometimes I feel like in schools and it's all about every minute must be consumed with academic outcomes, and what gets missed is the joy of community that you
That
praised.
that is absolutely correct. And I think while we do focus on academics, there's also
Seems not important.
that's right, but there's also a part of being a well-rounded student that can communicate, that can deal with conflicts, that can talk about what they did that weekend, that can really they really build a bond and build a rapport with their peer students and even with their teachers for that matter. We're all human. And we want to be able to show that. And yes, we want to be the best school district in North Carolina, but why can't we have fun when we come to school too? Either as a student or an employee. And we try to do that in ABSS. I probably joke on when we do videos or in social media or I'm speaking to a group of teachers. I try to joke a little bit, and sometimes I probably need to be more serious. But at the end of the day, come work at a place where you know you're going to enjoy it and that you want to come back to tomorrow.
100%.
Absolutely.
100%. Well, thank you. This is a great
Thank you. This is great. I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
This is wonderful. Thank you.